I said before the series started talking to Windhorst that there's a chance when this is done that we'll say the biggest star in this series was Anthony Edwards. He was unstoppable in the fourth. Unstoppable. Again, what do you have, 43? The bad man. And he's wired for it, man. He's got that right attitude of just enough respect, but enough, I'm going to kill all you mother. He's got that too.
Mm-hmm.
And Redick pushed all his chips in the middle and was like, I'm just going to play my guys.
Yeah.
And they all, LeBron and Luka played 46 minutes. Starters didn't come off the floor for a second in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the gambit. You push them all in the middle and you don't get that on the flop or whatever the fuck they call it in poker. You get beat on the turn on the
river.
Something. They lost is what I'm saying. Now you come home, you're down 3-1, and you're probably some pretty tired dudes.
Lakers by $1 billion in this game coming up. Just take it.
Yeah, it feels fairly predictable.
But Ant is on the cusp of as an impressive win. We want to talk about stars, and we want to give the shine to everybody. This Lakers train since they got Luka has been rolling. I mean, you've heard every expectation thing to the sun. And here comes little old Minnesota. And I talked about last week, just the trades that they have made. And then you still have your guy to try and work around it and give him the pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he does that. And his bravado, I thought they did a really good job, too, of letting Dante handle the ball sometimes, too, to give him a break because he is so high in the usage. But, Scott, biggest part of the game, he's going by 4 guys. And you know he has the ball in his hands, and he still does it. And then he makes threes, and he led the league in threes. I
say that again because I don't think people know that. He led the league.
Led the NBA in three-pointers made.
Look it up.
And, we just talked about the Oilers and all that in that fan base. Minnesota, that fan base, that building is always great. And you're right there. You're right there. And last year, obviously, you were super close. But this feels like it's got some sustain to it,
Well, if you go through Luka and LeBron in a first-round series, you're letting people know that you're backing up last year's run with another. And while we're at it, is Ant is the guy. He's the guy you're going to put on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
You put on the front of your season tickets and all that. But the thing about that team, push comes to shove, Naz Reid takes and makes every big-time shot. And he's one of those modern dudes. How tall is Naz Reid? 6'10"?
11, yeah.
He's out there shooting 25-footers. What is he listed at? 6'9". But
plays bigger.
I agree, and takes and makes big-time shots. How about Jaden?
Oh.
McDaniels, we had him on the other night, and it was just so great. We had just finished hearing Miss Lisa Salters talking to Ant, and Ant talked about how Tom Crean texted him and reminded him to play with joy and to smile when you're playing, and you felt that, you heard it, you saw it, and then here's Jaden. Zoom in on him.
You weren't breaking him.
Reminded me of back in the day, the great Rakim on Soul Train, and Don Cornelius said, "You seem like a very serious young man," and Rakim said, "I ain't no joke." And I'm like, okay. Jaden felt like Rakim on Soul Train back in the day. He was not here for my bullshit. Wasn't here for the smiles and the laughs. And I said, look, I hope that you're feeling the joy that you should have after a playoff career high in 30. And he's all about business. And he's like, Perk was on me, which is funny. He said, this guy's grown. I'm not talking about his game's grown. He's physically grown like several inches since he's been in the league. And he'll take on the challenge of guarding your best player. And then scored 30. That was on a Friday night. Like what I'm getting at here is that Minnesota's not just Ant in the Supremes.
No.
It's not backup singers. It's an awfully impressive team. And they've been able to dominate the Lakers in the paint because I mean, Jaden said straight up, look, we feel like they don't have any rim protectors, so we're just going to go to the bucket. Okay. Minnesota's going to win that series. We said it last week. They won that first one. It didn't feel like a one-off. I mean, I'm not exactly out on a limb predicting a 3-1 lead is going to equal a series win. You wouldn't want to have to put all your eggs in the basket for a Game 6 win at home, but you can presume LA will defend home floor.
Yeah, I would think that's going to happen. I just said Ant was on the cusp of it. You got to do it. Close the door. You did all the hard work. Probably not going to happen in LA, but just going back to those guys. And it was, we talked about the run Minnesota made last year, and I've just always really appreciated Naz Reid. Doris kept pointing out what he was doing on the perimeter, defending yesterday, which, you said one of these guys that's a long and a big, but he shoots threes.
It's the modern NBA.
But he also can move his ass off. And, Jaden defending Luka and with his length, and then him going back to, we know what they have and we know what we have.
Yeah,
we're going.
And by the way,
the boards.
Shout to Finch, Coach Finch.
Finchy.
Yeah, Finchy's out there. I mean, I've been impressed with what JJ's done throughout the year. Yesterday was just my 5 is on the floor and they're going to stay out there, and you come up 3 short, and now you're going to have to win 3 straight games. They could, but it feels like Minnesota's going to win that series now.
Ant's also the king of review that, or he never fouls anyone.
Well, no one in the league has ever fouled anyone.
And when he did that, I'm like, oh boy, we're gonna do this. And you saw Finchy look back to the bench, and in case you don't know, they have their own video people now behind the bench that can see the replay right away, and Finchy reviews it, and the whole game turns. I also cannot believe they didn't call a foul on McDaniels when Luka got tripped and they had to waste a timeout. And the Lakers,
I agree with that.
Didn't have a timeout. In an NBA game, it's amazing you don't have a timeout left. How many you get?
They stepped on his foot. But
Luka falling, it's
a lot of times it is. You see Luka, Dante DiVincenzo called the referee a bitch twice, and Luka's giving him a look. Like, that was actually, I don't love Luka but his face was like, he's going, he didn't say it, but the thought bubble over his head, like, you gonna call that? You're really not gonna, he called you a bitch twice, right? Like, you could see that reaction. Somehow that didn't get called either. That was Friday night, I believe.
Yeah.
But those 2 games were awesome. High level, deep end of the pool stuff. And this is a first round series.